Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Tuesday, October 14th. And so we had a holding day yesterday, and overnight was pretty freaking ugly. Man, that was some heck of an overnight. Let me see if I can grab my F1 on the ES here real quick. Drag it over. Let me see. There's my ES F1. I had one screen go out on me yesterday, so I'm working on three screens right now. Anyway, so you can see here we had this little holding day, and unless they had good news on the tariff situation, so well, good news. He kind of diffused a part of it, so more there's no reason for a complete sell-off to continue. But overnight was pretty volatile. They had a little bit of strength, and then they hammered it all the way down, reversed the whole session yesterday, and tested these lows again. Held, trading back up a little bit, but you can see it's pretty much still a lot of volatility out there. But it so far it feels like we may have a shot at holding in this area around that 6660 to 6700, even if we are trading below it. We'll see how the day session kicks in. Either this is going to go sideways and not sideways, but it'll go down and start heading lower, or we may see support holding and then trade back up again. Some bank earnings came out. I think Goldman and Citibank, as far as I know, they're great earnings. Goldman's had a spectacular report, but a lot of M&As and stuff like that going on, IPOs. So they had a pretty spectacular quarter. Citibank had a double beat as well, as far as I could tell. And yeah, so bank earnings season is coming up. That's going to be an interesting one. Without any financial news, that's going to be the only thing to lean against. So if that's good, the market stock has a good shot at holding on to the gains, maybe even turn this little volatility around into a rally again. So a lot of stuff got shaken out on this sell-off. I mean, this whole thing on the downside is absolute mayhem for a lot of positions which are leveraged or people who are short positions, stuff like that. Those are, um, short position would be happy here, but I mean, as the market rallied yesterday, some of those probably had a little bit of problems. But overall, leverage positions, when people had to cover, people are hopping off the bandwagon, taking profits. All that stuff is causing all this volatility. Uh, Fundamentally, they backed off a little bit on the tariff threat. They're going to be talking again, I guess, and then we'll see how this shakes out beginning of November. So it's not nothing really to. There's no reason for a further continuation unless there is. Uh, this just started the trajectory to the downside. More profit taking could potentially beget more profit taking and more pressure to the downside. But yesterday was a pretty good day. They started off with a bit of a holding pattern and had a pretty good. The AI trade was nothing but spectacular yesterday. So there's definitely some buying going on, right? But so starting off today, given that we are trading below these areas, these 6650s, I'm going to start off with a bias to the downside. I'm going to see look for a reverse retest of the 50s and see if they if they can take that out. If they can't, I mean, probably going to be seeing some weakness today. If not, if they take out that 6650, trade back up here again, I think we have a good shot of us staying in a range-bound trading day. So volatility is still very much with us, but that's kind of the decision point I'm looking at in front of me here. So looking at selling against that 6650, maybe after 60s for rotations down, but it's looking to get short against early strength. See if they can take out this area resistance. But as we always do, we're looking for failure to take out these levels and rotations back down again. And so far in the overnight, they've been holding on to that 6650 pretty good. On the way down, if they start heading lower, there could be a ledge here. I was going to, oh, it gets a little bit too crowded, but you see that three-letter or four-letter ledge at the 6620. Could be something here. I opted to hold off together to this double-letter ledge. Instead, the 6615s. I'm going to leave it there. So 6615s, 6605s, potential buying opportunities. But below that one, yeah, stay on the short side. I think at that point, we're going to be down here testing the lows, potentially heading even lower. So there's space to go on the downside. If you go back to the F1 here, there's an attractor down here at the 6475. And they started retracing this, the move to the when they had this crazy rundown. But if they're going to try to come down here and test the lows here at the 66.30 to 40s, sorry, 65.30 to 40s, that's going to probably happen today then, I would think. If it doesn't happen today, I think we have a good shot at holding this together. So there we have it. But yesterday, you can see here, they closed here pretty good, had a pretty tight trading day. They held towards the highs, and then in the overnight, it started failing here. You can see this late in the Asian session, it started heading lower, and it just did not stop. They just ran it all the way down here to that 66.05s. But since then, they've been holding. So back earning has been good. So we got a little bit of wind in our sails. Jerome Powell is scheduled to speak at 12:20 today. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. I don't know how accurate these calendars are now with the shutdown. So we just have to see. But then 12:20 p.m. Eastern, just to pay attention. There could be something happening there. But that's how we get started. Let's see if they can take out that 66.50 and trade back up again. If so, we'll go back range bound. Still looking for shorts against these levels all the way up here to the 67.05s. I mean, we had the high of yesterday was at that 67, 67, 5 to 10 here. So I would be looking at for short all the way up here again. For some reason, if they take out that 67, 05 to 10, start retracing the single print east, that's when we can start getting excited about the long side again. But again, look for that trading up above that 66.50s, go back range bound, trade this as a range in this area. And that just means that you're looking for short setups against these resistance areas, just not super aggressively. Just take your time. It's going to be volatile. You have opportunities to hold on and not be super aggressive about it. Sometimes you had to warrant, sometimes you had to be aggressive, but when it's volatile like this, you probably, unless you really want some action, I would just take a little bit more time and try to get the better setup before I enter. So that's the ES to get started. Watch that 66.50s. See if you can trade back. But we're starting off with a bias to the downside on that one. The Nasdaq, same story there. And the bonds, nice move to the upside. So looking at the bonds, they're right up here, taking out this upper area. So they right now, I would say the bond market is a little bit of a flight to safety going on still. So and not a great sign, I have to say, but it's so far it's a probe to the upside. The holding day probe to the upside, and we are in this price discovery territory, not the price discovery, but we have a spot to get to. Yeah, no, we don't have it much. We are heading up into territory here, which we haven't been for a while, at least 6 months. So they keep going. The yield's going to keep going down, and the lower yields, we'll take that. That's a good short-term benefit, but it's flight to safety is what it feels like on the bonds right now. So I would start from the long side, looking to buy weakness. We are up against an upper area, so I would watch these two. I would look to buy against the 1810s and the 1806s. Below 1806, I would take off that long bias and go back range bound. So pretty aggressive in shifting it, because if this is just a probe to the upside, they'll reverse that pretty quick. All right, so that's so starting off from the long side on the bonds, looking to buy down to that 1806. Maybe the last one would be 18, but I would probably take off my long bias below that 1805 or say 1805s already. And then Nasdaq, nice move to the downside. Not quite a V bottom, but down straight back up again. And you can tell there's algos running it in the overnight. And the same story there. They had a nice little move to the upside. AI trade was on fire yesterday. We'll see how it looks today. It's a little bit muted. I checked it earlier in this morning. It's so most of the stocks are in the red. We'll see how that turns out. But two bank earnings came out, so we are getting into earnings season, and it's so far looking good. You can give it a few more days, but that's going to be the one to lean against now. The earnings season, what's coming out there, and since we don't have any financial news to drive the market. But on the Nasdaq, I would look for short setups against the 650s and the 730s for rotations down again. Above that 730, I'm going to take off the short bias and going back range bound, back up in this upper range again. One level outside the obvious would be that 770 level. So that's kind of the resistance areas to pay attention to. And if they can't get up above it, we're probably looking for more weakness on the Nasdaq, and yeah, they can run it lower. And on the Nasdaq, the capital flow. Let me see if I can find that chart. Where's my Nasdaq? Okay, Nasdaq. There it is. So Nasdaq is volatile. So they start heading lower. I mean, we can be down in this area here, this 24,000 area in no time. So we'll see. There's not a lot to stop the market below these the 24,500s. A little bit down here at the 24,400s, but this whole area of support, if that comes out, we can certainly head all the way down to that 24,000 level. So that could be one of those other kind of rough days where you just see the selling pile on. But I mean, we're still in October, so if the market has been done a pretty good rally lately. So if they uh, take the opportunity now when they have a little bit of weakness, a little bit of volatility in the market, start hammering it and start shaking out weak positions and stuff like that, that would, I think, would be the reason they take it lower. I'm not seeing any fundamental reason for it just yet, at least as I can tell. So I mean, if earnings comes out great, that would be great for stocks no matter what. If it's if the Chinese tariff situation doesn't deteriorate, there's no reason for further selling. But then again, market is going to do what it's going to do. So if we start seeing that weakness, just stay on the short side and see how far they're going to take it. And then finally, oil and gold. Okay, I gotta clean up my chart. So all these charts pile on each other on the screen. But looking at the gold, F1 on gold, a nice pop to the upside again, all the way up here to that 4190, almost 4200. The gold is up. Look at that crazy stuff. They stalled it at 4000 for a bit. They're up to 4200. So yeah, they're going kind of parabolic on gold. It just feels very much overdone, but repricing gold is what they're doing. And even if you got gold, I mean, just hold on for dear life. It's a good ride right now. I did this couple of changes on my F2 on gold though. Let me see if I can find my F2 on gold. That's F1. Where's my F2 on gold? There it is. All right, so F2 on gold. I did change the settings on this one. So I went down from, now it's a little bit more readable, but I went down from, let's show you. On the profile, I went to aggregation to 15 ticks for ticks to aggregate. I had 10 before. And on volume statistics, I went to 4 on that session ticks. So that I can read the histogram on the right here. So that's the changes I made. So compressing it a little bit, so it's a little bit more readable. But you can see here how they are just flat out to the upside. So traded from the long side, look to buy weakness against the 4136, 37s, against the 4115, 16s, 4104s for rotations up. They start trading below the session lows here at the 4100s. I would be looking for a retracement trade, but it could be pretty interesting trading day. I mean, when you get these big moves to the upside, getting a good reversal, but the overnight the London session has done pretty good job of running down here, testing the lows too. So they may just be staying here in the range, maybe even trying to take this higher. So I would stay on the long side. Capital flow is pointed higher. Change member charge pointed high. Everything's pointed higher on gold. So buy gold when you have weakness or rotations up. That's kind of the ticket right now. But man, that is something moving on gold. And then on oil, to the downside, they're down here at the 57s now. So oil has taken out their lows pretty convincingly now, and there's absolutely you can see here they took it down, move out of the middle to the downside, holding there yesterday, they're moving again today, but they're definitely in a move out of the middle to the downside and trade it as such. So they'll trade that from the short side. And so looking to sell strength against the 58.25s, 58, 65s, 59s for rotations down. If they trade up above 59s, I would take off the short bias and just go back range bound. So that's oil for you to get started. But trade up on the short side, the risk premium is coming off oil for the Middle East conflict. So that whole risk premium is right now coming off, and pretty convincingly at that. So we'll take it. So that's gold and oil. So trade oil from the short side, gold from the long side, and we expect a lot more volatility. We're still not out of the woods when it comes to further selling on the indices or a potential rally. But I would say the risk is more to the downside right now. And if we see further selling, I would just stay on the short side of this. But to get started on both the indices, look to sell strength, early strength on the ES. Pay attention to that 66.50 level. If that comes out, one more level outside the obvious is 60s, and above that one we have flat out range bound again. So that would calm things down pretty good. But so we got a few things we potentially could make that happen, but let's see how the day session shapes up. All right, guys, we'll wrap it there for now. Good trading, and I will see you guys back at 11:30 for the next update. Later.